Hey guys, Mr. Pearson here. What we're going to be showing you in this video is how to navigate some of the things that you'll see in your online Pearson account. This is where you have access to your textbook and some assignments that I'm going to be giving you over the course of the school year. So in a previous video, I showed you how to access this page and to log in. Now, your login information is the letters NE for Northeast and whatever your student ID number is. So I'm borrowing a student ID number so I can log in as a student and show you kind of what it would look like when you sign into your account. Now, the very first time when you sign in, you have oh, hey, I must have logged in as this student before, because one of the things when you log in the first time, it gives you an option to kind of personalize it just a little bit. You can take it and pick and choose, some background information, a little icon to represent yourself, that kind of thing. And I'll show you how to change that if you need to. But when you're done, selecting the personalized stuff that you can pick as far as what language you want, what kind of icon, background you want, you're going to come and you're going to see a screen like this. So there's a couple things that you can click on here. If it's where it says Texas Geometry, you can click on that, or you can click here where it says Realize. Either one of those things are going to take you to the same place. But you also have this button called Dash here, so we'll try seeing if this will load here and give you an opportunity to see what it looks like. And it's going a little slow. All right, we're stuck at 81%, so we'll come back to that in a second, see if it's finished loading. But let's go ahead and, again, you can click here on Texas Geometry, or you can click on Realize. That's one of the things that you're going to look at. Oh, okay, here we go. So this is what I was talking about, where you kind of get to pick what you want. Here's your background images, personalize, pick a profile icon, pick a language that you want, and when you're ready, you just say, let's go. Now, I'm not going to select that for the student, but if you ever want to change it, when you're here on this screen, you can come here, like instead of saying to sign out, you can click on your settings and it'll take you back to where you can change all of that. So here you have these three options. You have programs, you have classes, and you have grades. So let's look at programs. Now, programs is where, this is kind of where you're going to be accessing your online textbook. You can click a thumbnail view or a list view. Personally, I like the list view. And inside of your textbook, you have 6 units. Now, Unit 1 is actually quite lengthy, so we're actually going to be spending a lot of time here in the first semester of the class. So if you click Unit 1, you have all of these different topics. And inside of each of these topics, there is a lot of stuff. So we'll go ahead and start with Topic 1, because that's where we're going to be starting anyway. We'll just click on Topic 1 and you see all of these things here. Now, the 3-act math, that is something that you can look at to, it gives you a good idea of how to think about things that you'll see in this unit. But let's go ahead and take a look here. We're starting on Lesson 1.1, Points, Lines, and Planes, which will be your first lesson in class. So if you click on that, it'll bring you here. This will be a thing that sometimes I'll show it in class, sometimes I won't. Here, if I click on Key Concepts, these are things that you would see in your textbook as far as definitions, how to name things. So here you see we're talking about a point, which is an undefined term in geometry. Sometimes if you click on it, that doesn't seem to do it on my laptop all the time, but if you click on that, it'll blow up the picture if you're having a hard time seeing it. And you can see here each one of these little dots represents a key concept. So if I click on the next one, we go to our next undefined term, which is a line. It kind of tells you what a line is, how you name it, what it looks like. Stuff like that. And all of these things I try to provide in a handout for you as your notes, but if you ever need them, here they are. Okay, so we can come back and, okay, so let's take a look here. Points, lines, and planes. How do we name them? Now, this is kind of what you would be looking at as a student, again, if you maybe missed class or you missed a video or you just need to hear it presented in a different way than maybe I do it. Now, I want to be clear, the examples that Pearson gives us a lot of times are really nice and I like them, but they're not perfect all the time. They don't always match up to lessons that I'm going to be giving you. They don't always go into a deep enough level of questioning. And so that's why a lot of the times the things that you'll see for the resources that I give you don't always match up to what you see here. But I do really like a lot of things that you're doing. So if you just click play here, I'm not sure if you can hear it because it's coming from the speaker in the ceiling, but it'll give you something. Here it's giving you a diagram and it's going to ask you questions about it. And as you go through the example, it does a really good job of very similar things that I would do in a classroom of simply asking you thinking questions. Well, how are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Well, what information does it give you? That kind of thing. And so it's very useful to maybe play through some of these if you're getting stuck on something or if you just need to review a topic. And if you get impatient, kind of like me, you can kind of, just skip ahead and say, oh, hey, what are we doing? So here you can kind of see where they're giving you well, what information did they give me? How are we going to use it kind of thing. Okay, but that's some information about how you're going to use your resources. Now here, if you click on some of these other things, like here, I believe if you go to any of these particular things, these are resources that you'd be able to you can use them online for sure, but I believe they're also downloadable, so where you can kind of save them as a PDF, and that way you don't have to use them on you don't have to have online access all the time to utilize some of these resources. So for instance here you can kind of, don't see it off the top of my head here, but you'll be able to download some of these things, and these would also be other resources that you would see in your textbook if you had a physical textbook. The district didn't purchase everything digitally, but like you can see here, these are things that here's something that I've downloaded. This is kind of a student companion that you do have access to. It's stuff that you can download and save to use as a resource. But I don't want to go into too much detail on that. So one of the things that y'all are going to be using most, and let's see, did the dash ever load? No, it's stuck at 81% for some reason. So one of the things that you'll be using this resource for a lot is I'm going to be assigning you work out of your Pearson account. So this is where you're going to see things associated with lessons that we're going to be going over in class. Well, what about assignments? If you click here on classes, this is where you're going to start to see some of your assignments. Okay, so here in this class, and again, I'm just logged in as the student for examples purposes. This student has two assignments that they have not started. They have the online course readiness and a worksheet, a practice assignment here. So it tells you when they're due, and these are just kind of arbitrary dates for example purposes right now. You see down here you have glossary if you're unsure about a term, math tools. These are going to be things that, depending on the type of lesson that you're working with, maybe it'll give you some kind of an interactive thing that you can move polygons around or use a compass and straight edge. Here, these virtual nerd tutorials are very helpful. They're not a video for every single. Ooh, hey, and this is, I guess, not going to show you the video, but it is something that you can download onto your mobile devices as an app. But you can click on those. I'll go back and show you where those are in a minute. But they give you videos where an instructor is actually talking you through a concept, how it's used. Okay, let's take a look at one of these lessons here. So practice form G. This is a homework assignment that comes from our curriculum. So here, as a student, this is what you're going to see. It's going to be practice form. We're in Unit 1, Topic 1, practice form G. So here, if you needed to upload something, you could do it. If you needed to write a comment, you could do it here. There's actually, I believe there's a forum that you can kind of, as a group, post comments like, oh, I got stuck on problem number 7, I need help, that kind of thing. When you click on it here, it'll just kind of open things up for you and go with it. You can download it as a actual worksheet. Say, hey, when you're ready to turn it in, turn it in. But We're not ready to turn it in yet, so I don't want to go too far into the material here for the kid in case they decided they need to do something with it. But this is how you're going to kind of maneuver and navigate the Pearson account. So let's come back here to programs real quick, and again we'll go to Unit 1, Topic 1, and let me show you what the virtual nerd thing is. If you pick a section here, so we're in 1.1, and if I go all the way, come down here to the bottom, we see virtual nerd tutorials. So they're giving us one that's a point, one that's a plane. So if you ever need a little extra practice on it, or just to hear it explained a different way, it'll kind of walk you through it. Now, here in this video, or in this window here, let me kill my volume. Here, what they're talking about is you have an instructor that's actually explaining everything that you're seeing, and here they'll kind of show you what the picture looks like, and they'll in this little window here they'll start talking about vocabulary terms associated with the lesson. But they're very helpful. It's not something that you have to log into your Pearson account for. You can, as you saw, download the app onto your smart devices and pick and choose whatever topics you wanted to that way. But there's a little bit of how you're going to be kind of utilizing the Pearson resources, how you're going to be moving around in it. And I really wish this thing would have loaded so you could see it. But take a few minutes and kind of associate yourself with how you're going to move things around, how you're going to move around inside of your Pearson account. And if you have any questions about things, let me know. If you run into any difficulties, something doesn't seem to be working the way it's supposed to, let me know, and we'll figure something out. But anyway, I'll go ahead and sign out here, and so that way Juan's not going to be doing anything right now. But again, that just wanted to show you a little bit how you navigate it. And again, if there's any issues, questions that come up, make sure you either email them to me or post them in the Google Classroom, and I will get back to you